Hello, first graders. It's that time again. Please go get your reading writing workshop book. It looks just like this one with a parrot on the front. That way you can follow along with me as we read the story together.
Please open your book and turn to page 98. The story that we are reading today is called From Puppy to Guide Dog. I am so excited to read this story because I love dogs. And guide dogs are a very specially trained kind of dog that really helps people out. So the essential question that we are going to be thinking about during this book is, how do people work with animals? And we're going to be thinking about and reading about how people train guide dogs. So this is going to be an informational text that will be teaching us how a puppy is born and how when they are born they get trained into a guide dog that gets to help people, because not every dog gets to be a guide dog. So we can see the text starts on the cover here. Follow along with me. It's the white text right above the dog that says, most dogs are pets, but some dogs help people. What is the key to making a dog a good helping dog? Like I said, not all dogs get to be guide dogs. So they have to be trained, and there's key things that every guide dog needs. A buddy to be. Mickey is a cute and clever puppy. He runs, jumps, and plays. One day, when he grows up a bit, Mickey will be a helping dog. He will be a daily buddy to a person who cannot see. So one day he's going to grow up and he is going to help someone that can't see anything. Helping dogs are called guide dogs. To be a guide dog, a puppy must be bright. That means they have to be very smart. It cannot be lazy or fussy. So any lazy dogs that just want to sleep all the time, sorry, can't do it. Any dogs that are fussy and they whine all the time, nope, can't do it. The puppy will need to learn many skills. A new home is found for the puppy when it is 8 weeks old. So look up here at the fact next to the little paw print. Most guide dogs are Labrador Retrievers. That's the kind of dog that's in here. Sometimes they call them a lab. Do you have a lab? Do you know anyone that has a lab puppy? Labs, they are very intelligent and easy to train. So you can see the caption with the arrow, guide dogs can be big or tiny. So you can see a lot of guide dogs are Labrador Retrievers. This section is called A Family of Trainers. A puppy, like Mickey, stays with the family for at least 1 year. The family plays with it and feeds it. They help the puppy stay healthy and teach the puppy a lot. So you can see the caption down at the bottom in the blue next to the arrow says each puppy has checkups at the vet. Here's a fact. 10,000 people in the US, the United States, and Canada use guide dogs. So what this page is telling us is that when the puppy is born, the puppy does not go straight to the person that needs it. So if someone is blind and can't see, they don't get a puppy guide dog. What happens is when the puppies are born, the puppies all go to families that know how to train it to be a good guide dog. So when the puppy is trained, after it's trained, usually about a year, once it's trained and it knows all the commands and all the tricks and it knows how to be a good guide dog, then the puppy, or the dog now, it's grown up, then it will go to a person that needs it after it's trained. Each puppy learns how to act nicely with people and with other animals. The family gets the dog used to a lot of tasks and settings. Puppies may visit many kinds of places in the city. They go to homes and shops. So you can see the caption in red. Every dog must be trained by itself. So each dog, they don't train the dogs in big groups. They train them one by one because they're going to be by themselves. Usually you only have one dog for each guide dog for each person. And then you can see the caption in blue. This dog watches its favorite team. So I'm sure you have seen, possibly, dogs out in the grocery store or at a football game or even at a water park or a regular park, and a lot of times they'll have a little jacket or a little vest on that says guide dog, or they might say guide dog in training, and usually you're not supposed to touch them because they are hard at work and they don't want anyone to distract them. So this is how they learn, is they go to these different places, because when you're a guide dog, you're going to have to go to lots of different places to help your owner. Learning new tasks. As time goes by, the dogs are trained how to go across the street. The dog stays right near the trainer. It learns to stop at a red signal. This will help the dog safely lead a person who cannot see traffic. So these dogs are trained to be able to read a stoplight. They know that green means go. They know that red means stop. Sometimes they know, I don't know if you've ever heard of a crosswalk where it beeps. It goes beep, 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 beep when it's time to cross, and the dog can hear that and the owner can hear that, and then they'll know that it's time to safely cross the street. Let's read this fact next to the paw print. Guide dogs are allowed in restaurants, stores, school, any place a person can go. So if someone at our school needs a guide dog, maybe they can't see or hear, or they have some sort of other disability that they need help, you might end up seeing a student at our school with a guide dog. And we can see the caption at the bottom in that teal color. This guide dog learns to cross a street. Some guide dogs can be trained to help a man or a woman who cannot move or walk. So you can see here that these people are in a wheelchair. And so these dogs are trained to be with people in a wheelchair. So each dog is trained specifically to be with a certain person. They might be trained to be with someone that can't see. They might be trained to be with someone that can't walk. He or she might need help with a lot of hard tasks, both inside and outside the home. So you can see this caption here that's written in teal says a dog can be trained to get an elevator and to reach objects. So you can see the dog in the first picture up at the top, that the dog is reaching up and pushing the button on the elevator so that the owner can get in. And you can see the dog at the bottom is reaching items off of the shelf to give to their owner. Eyes and ears. Some dogs are trained to help people who cannot hear. If the dog hears a bell ringing or a yell, it would lightly tug or poke the person with its nose. So these dogs are pretty much their owner's ears. If they hear any sound like someone screaming, or if they hear a doorbell or anything that you might be able to hear, they will poke their owner or pull on the leash so that the owner knows. This caption in blue says, a dog can be taught to alert its owner to sounds. Fact, next to the little paw, says guide dogs should not be bothered while working. And that's something that I talked to you about on another page. Usually if you see a guide dog that has a little jacket on that says guide dog, usually people don't want you to go up and pet the dog because they're working, and you don't want to distract them while they're working. They have a job to do. Ready to guide. Training a puppy for a year is not an easy job. Owners may call or write to thank the family that raised their puppy. Training a guide dog helps a lot of people. And we can see the question at the bottom says, how does a guide dog get trained to help people? Well, We just talked about that throughout this story. They have to do lots of things. They have to take them to lots of places so they're used to it. You can imagine if you go to a big football game and it's really noisy. Some dogs might get scared if it's noisy. That's why they have to train the guide dog to be okay with loud noises. Imagine if you brought your dog in the classroom. Wow, my puppy probably would be running around and playing with all the kids because she loves kids. Well, if you're a guide dog, you can't be running and playing around with all the people. You have a job to do. So part of training the guide dog is taking them to lots of different places so they know what their job is when they're at the grocery store. You can't be eating all the food off the shelves. Oh my goodness, that would be so crazy. You can't be eating all the food off the shelves. You have a job to do. You can't be running and playing with all the kids. You have a job to do. So they have to train them to be able to see traffic lights, to hear beeping sounds, to sit next to their owner and do their job instead of eating all the food off the shelves at the grocery store. It's a hard job. All right, friends, that's all for today. This was a great story, and I'm so glad that you sat and listened to it with me.